It was raining again in Seattle, the kind of rain that feels like it knows your secrets. Noah Bennett drove home from work, humming to the radio, thinking about what dessert his wife, Clara, might have made. 2 years of marriage, and he still smiled just thinking of her. When he walked in, the house was quiet. The smell of perfume lingered, soft and unfamiliar. He called her name. No answer. Then he noticed her phone on the counter, the screen lighting up with a message that changed everything. "I miss you too. Heart." Noah froze. His chest tightened. He picked up the phone, but before he could read more, Clara walked in. "Oh, you're home early," she said, surprised. He smiled weakly. "Yeah, long day." He placed her phone back on the counter and hugged her, pretending everything was fine. But something inside him broke, quietly. Days passed. Clara grew more distant. Late nights, secret smiles, and excuses about friends from work. Noah didn't confront her. He just watched, hoping she'd stop lying before he had to ask why. Then one morning, she left for the gym. He went to the drawer where she kept her sketchbook and found a folded piece of paper. It wasn't a sketch, it was a letter. "Dear Daniel, I don't know why, but I feel alive when I'm with you. Noah is good to me, but it's different with you. Maybe I'm wrong, but I can't stop thinking about you." Noah stood there in silence, his hands trembling. He read it again, hoping the words would change, but they didn't. They never do. He didn't scream, didn't cry. He just walked out, got in his car, and drove until the city disappeared behind him. He drove until the ache became quiet. Days turned into weeks. Clara called, texted, begged. But Noah had already made peace with the truth that sometimes love doesn't die, it just changes its face. Months later, they met again by accident, a coffee shop on Fifth Avenue. She was standing in line, her hair tied up, looking like a stranger who used to be his home. "Noah," she whispered, almost breathless. "Can we talk?" He looked at her calm, almost kind. "There's nothing to say, Clara. You wrote your goodbye in that letter." Tears welled up in her eyes. "I made a mistake." He smiled gently. "So did I. I loved someone who didn't know what love really means." And with that, he walked away. That night, Noah sat by the window, rain tapping softly against the glass. He opened his laptop and began to write. Not to her, but for himself. "To the woman who taught me how to let go, thank you. You broke me, but in that breaking, I found myself again." He hit save, closed his laptop, and smiled. Because some stories aren't meant to be rewritten. They're meant to end. 3 months had passed since Noah walked away. Seattle's winter had come early, painting the streets in quiet fog and regret. He had moved into a small apartment overlooking the harbor. Simple, silent, peaceful. But sometimes peace feels heavy when your heart isn't ready for it. He spent his mornings sketching, trying to rebuild the passion he once lost in endless routines. Art had always been his escape. Before Clara, before Heartbreak, he would sit for hours drawing faceless people walking under the rain, wondering if they too were pretending to be fine. One evening, as he sat in the corner cafe sketching, someone tapped his shoulder. "Noah?" He turned and froze. It was Maya, Clara's friend, or rather, their friend. "I thought that was you," she said softly, sitting down without asking. He forced a polite smile. "Hey, Maya. Long time." She looked at him for a moment, her eyes full of quiet guilt. "I didn't know how to face you. Clara told me everything." He stayed silent, his pen trembling slightly. She's not doing well. She moved back to her mother's place. She regrets it, Noah. Maya, he interrupted gently. Some words don't fix what actions destroyed. The cafe fell silent again, except for the rain outside. Maya looked down. You didn't deserve what happened. He smiled faintly. Sometimes people love you the best way they know how. It just isn't always enough. That night, when Noah went home, he found something strange in his mailbox. An envelope. No name, no return address. Just his name, Noah Bennett. Inside, a single letter. The handwriting was shaky but familiar. Noah, I know you'll never forgive me. I wouldn't either. But if love ever meant anything to you, please read this once. I'm not asking you to come back. I just want you to know the truth before you erase me completely. The next page was what broke him. Daniel left me. He said I was too emotional. I guess I finally understand how it feels to be disposable. I deserve this pain, maybe even worse. I thought I was finding happiness, but I was only running from myself. I wanted to feel alive again. I didn't realize I was killing the only real love I ever had. Noah sat in silence, the letter trembling in his hands. 1,000 emotions flooded back. Love, anger, pity, nostalgia, but mostly emptiness. He folded the letter back carefully and placed it in a box, the same box where he kept the engagement ring she once slipped off without a word. Then he whispered to the empty room, I forgive you. Not for you, Clara. For me. A week later, Noah started teaching art classes at a community center. It wasn't about money, it was about starting again. There, he met Lena, a quiet photographer who loved to capture the parts of life people forget to notice. For the first time in a long time, Noah laughed again, a real laugh, not the kind that hides pain. But one evening, while packing up his things, he saw Clara standing by the door. Her eyes were tired, her hair shorter, her smile gone. Noah, she whispered, I didn't come to ask for another chance. I came to say sorry, in person. He nodded slowly. You didn't have to. I did, she said, because you were the only one who ever really saw me. He looked at her, the woman who had once been his whole world, now just a memory in a stranger's eyes. Goodbye, Clara, he said quietly. She smiled weakly. Goodbye, Noah. As she turned to leave, the rain started again outside. He watched her go, not with pain, but peace. Sometimes closure doesn't come with answers. It comes with acceptance. That night, Noah took out his sketchbook and drew one last picture. 2 figures walking in opposite directions under the same rain. Then he closed the book and whispered, The end. And finally, he meant it. Spring came slowly to Seattle that year. The rain was softer now, and so was Noah. His art classes grew popular, not because he was extraordinary, but because he taught with something rare, gentleness. He often told his students, art isn't about what you see, it's about what you feel and can't explain. And every time he said it, a small part of him healed. Lena became a close friend. She had a quiet strength, like sunlight after a storm, calm but certain. She never asked about Clara, never asked why he looked sad when it rained. She just stayed. One evening, they were sitting in the park, watching the sunset. Lena turned to him and said, You know, people always talk about love like it's a movie, loud, dramatic, but real love is quiet. It's choosing someone every day, even when life gets boring. Noah smiled. I used to think love was about passion, he said. Now I think it's about peace. They shared a silence that said more than words could. Weeks passed. Life felt normal again, almost too normal. Then one day, he received a call from a familiar voice. "Maya here. Can we talk?" He hesitated, but agreed. They met at the same cafe where she had found him months ago. Maya looked nervous this time. "It's about Clara," she began. Noah's heart skipped. "What about her?" "She's not doing well," Maya said softly. "She had a breakdown a few weeks ago. She's been in therapy. She talks about you a lot." Noah looked away. "Why are you telling me this?" "Because she asked me to," Maya replied. "She said you deserve to know she's trying to become better, not to get you back, but to make peace with what she did." For a long time, Noah said nothing. He simply stared at the rain sliding down the cafe window, thinking of all the things he could say and realizing he didn't need to say any of them. Finally, he sighed. "I'm glad she's healing. I hope she finds what she's looking for." That night, Lena noticed Noah was quiet. "Rough day?" she asked softly. He nodded slowly. "Just memories visiting again." She smiled gently. "You don't have to fight them. Just don't live in them." Noah looked at her, really looked at her. And for the first time, his heart didn't ache. It felt light. Maybe that's what healing really is, not forgetting, but remembering without pain. A month later, Noah got invited to an art exhibition. He wasn't sure why he said yes, but Lena insisted. "You've got to show the world what you've been hiding," she teased. When they entered the gallery, Noah's breath caught. One of the featured artists was Clara. Her paintings were raw, full of emotion and regret. One piece caught his attention, a silhouette of a man walking away under the rain, his shadow fading into light. Beneath it, the title read, "Forgive Me." Clara saw him from across the room. Their eyes met. No anger, no bitterness, just history. She smiled faintly. He nodded back. That was all. Sometimes, forgiveness doesn't need words. It just needs time. That night, as they drove home, Lena asked softly, "Are you okay?" Noah smiled, his eyes on the road. "Yeah, for the first time in a long time, I actually am." He reached over and took her hand, the city lights reflecting softly on their faces. Love doesn't always arrive like thunder. Sometimes it returns like the sunrise, slow, quiet, and new. Months passed, and Noah's world finally felt steady. He painted every morning, taught every afternoon, and spent his evenings laughing with Lena. The scars were still there, but they no longer hurt. One evening, while cleaning his old studio, he found something behind a shelf, an old, unopened envelope with his name on it. The handwriting stopped him cold. It was Clara's. For a long time, he just stared at it. Then slowly, he tore it open. Inside, a single page. It read, "Noah, if you ever read this, it means I didn't have the courage to say sorry in person. I ruined something beautiful because I was scared of love that felt too real. I don't want you to forgive me. I just want you to remember me kindly. Clara." Noah sat there for a long time, the letter trembling in his hands. He didn't cry this time. He smiled. Later that night, he showed the letter to Lena. She read it quietly, then said, "That's closure." Noah nodded. "Yeah, I think I finally understand what it means to let go." A few weeks later, he held his first solo exhibition. His main painting, a sunrise over calm water, was titled "The Letter She Never Sent." People loved it. They said it felt honest. But only Noah knew what it truly meant, that sometimes love isn't a person you hold on to. It's a lesson you carry forward. As the night ended, Lena whispered, "So, what's next for you?" Noah smiled, eyes glimmering under the soft gallery lights. "Maybe it's time," he said, "to start writing new letters, ones that actually get sent." That evening, as they walked home under the quiet glow of streetlights, Lena slipped her hand into his. This time, he didn't hesitate. He held on, not to the past, but to the present. Sometimes peace doesn't come from forgetting.